Perhaps the most prominent non-medical thing that has changed me, aside from my fiance, I gotta get those brownie points in somewhere, right? Is my belonging, participation, and love for video games. I've played many titles and have had almost every flagship console in my house, minus a Wii U and Nintendo Switch. When people ask me what game or genre I like the most or what I've played the most, I'm really torn. I don't really have a favorite game or genre. I play FPS games like Call of Duty and Rainbow Six religiously, but I'll turn to games like Civilization, Portal, Detroit Become Human, Divinity, Spider-Man, Canasta, or Euchre, and devote the same time and effort. Normally my response for a game I've played the most is Star Wars The Old Republic. Since I know the Old Republic mythos, I can recite all the 7 saber forms of combat, how they work, I can speak some Mandalorian, and I've spent countless hours devoted over the years, especially due to roleplay. Recently though, I started playing Minecraft again. See, I've played it since its early beta phase, and maybe even before that. That's at least 8 years of Minecraft. I haven't always been playing it consistently, but when I did, I played it more and more than anything else I've ever had. So when I started playing it again, I wondered why I left. I enjoyed it so much. Then I started thinking of it another way. Why did I enjoy it? Minecraft, unlike most games, but not uniquely to itself, has an emergent narrative. This means that there is no linear or programmed story, but instead the players themselves create it or give the game meaning in a sense. This is what Minecraft excels at, and it's why people play it, and get sucked into the blocky world that has been around for so long. I want to explore Minecraft's emergent narrative and how players are encouraged in its creation. There are 3 inherent modes of gameplay: survival, creative, and adventure. Survival is what is considered to be the normal or actual way to play the base game. Players are thrown in the middle of the world, generally with nothing, and must set off and try and keep their character alive. There's no tutorial or guide to walk you through things, you just start doing things and learn as you go. Sure, there are guides on the internet, but we'll get to that later. For the most part, players start their journeys with no idea what is going on or why. Andrzej Zarzycki wrote an article investigating narrative spaces in video games. In it, he stated that the inhabitants of the virtual space associated with sandbox games is reminiscent of the ways people function. They wandered around looking for clues and meaningful moments to frame their experiences. He goes on to distinguish game goals and win states, and that Minecraft doesn't actually have a goal or win state. One could argue that this is wrong because if a player manages to go to the end, which is a time-heavy task, they stand a chance to find the Ender Dragon, and after defeating it, they get rewarded with some loot and they teleport back to their world and shown the credits. With most media, websites, movies, TV, and other games, credits are associated with completion, but with Minecraft, it doesn't have to be. And even then, the player doesn't even have to go to the end, nor do they have to try to. They aren't even encouraged to. It's entirely possible to put the game on a peaceful mode and never have to worry about fighting creatures. Players will create their own goals as they see fit, whether it's chopping down an entire forest, mining tons of diamonds, exploring dungeons, or just making a cool house. These goals can become a narrative because of how we play. According to a study done by Simon Chauvin, the game's narrative content is not just predefined. First and foremost, Minecraft is a game where players create or adopt spaces to live and give them meaning that they decide. I need a house leads to I need some wood for my house. Turns to if I made some tools with these materials, I can get materials faster for my house. Which eventually leads to if I get these tools to get materials to make better tools to get better materials to make better tools to get better materials to make better tools, I can get these materials faster for my house. As time goes on, players need to satiate their character with food items to maintain stamina and health, and they add another broad goal. I need a farm to my house in order to be able to get more materials to make better tools, and so on. Some items and materials are only available in certain parts of the game, like the elytra, wings for your character. A player can only get them after going to the end and managing to get about 1,000 blocks away to an outer island, only to search these outer islands until they find a city. That city needs to have a ship, and so on. In this way, the procedural nature and different biomes and dimensions make the goals that players set for themselves take more time to get. Eventually, this sculpts what could be considered a narrative. The virtual world is the setting. The player's character, the mobs, and even the world itself could all be characters. The plot is your overarching goal, the conflict is engaging with the world and its creatures, making your goals harder to achieve, and the resolution is achieving them. Players can even approach the game in a third-person narrative kind of way, creating their own play. Sunken ships, temples, mine shafts, villages, and other randomly generated, pre-made constructs and structures can be found in the world, and players can imagine their own story for each one of these things and who their character is in this world. Creative mode allows players access to every single block in the game, even those that you wouldn't be able to harvest in survival. It allows players to fly around and place down blocks to their heart's content, or have free range to explore without fear or hunger in being killed. Players can use this mode to create mega builds, or impressive redstone contraptions that would have been an incredibly hard time, or even impossible, to make in survival mode. Some do it for fun, building as they go, and others set out in a world with a distinct purpose or drive. This encourages narrative play in that players can do and create entire cities or palaces, making specific rooms or buildings because they feel like they would have to. Making a jail for a city, for example, because the criminals of that city would need to be punished. Or a kitchen in a modern style home because whoever would live there would need to eat. People put many extra things in these builds that they don't need to make them functional, but rather to make them immersive. The same goes for survival mode players, but creative mode allows players the freedom to not be held back in how immersive they make their build. But how does a game based on 16 by 16 colored blocks immerse players? Because they become a part of that world. That house is their house. Those villages are their neighbors. The more time a player spends on Minecraft, specifically in a specific world, they become closer and closer with it, evolving their knowledge of the layout and making it more and more the way they want it. The story emerges. This is your world, and you can make it your way. Adventure mode is the last mode. It is least common and must be accessed in-game commands and isn't even available from the main menu. This is because of the massive narrative of Minecraft that completely overarches everything. Its community. For the longest time, Minecraft has had content creators synonymously with the game, whether it was showing tips and tricks, cool builds, or let's play type of videos. Minecraft has also had players devoted to crafting a world in which to show off to other players, such as Skyblock Survival. In it, players are placed on specific islands floating in the air, with the intent of managing resources smartly to survive the challenge. Parkour maps, story explorations, escape rooms, all of these have been crafted by the community. Adventure mode restricts a player's abilities to destroy or place blocks, and thus map creators must specifically take a block or material to allow it to be modified by a player. In adventure mode, in this sense, players are forced to play the way the map creator intended, which is a narrative. Other narratives do happen in content creation spaces as well, where creators will collaborate or work together on one world, interacting with one another. It is also easy for players to participate in multiplayer in general. They can come in modded servers like Hunger Games, which is a battle royale game mode, Spleef, which you have to try and dig sand from another player, or more. But they can also just be pure, unadulterated vanilla Minecraft. Players can explore worlds together, build houses together, or perhaps build houses and farms separately but aid each other in endeavors. In this way, they can express creativity together, brainstorm together, and create narratives not only individually, but that involve new characters and ideas. In 2014, a case study was done on Minecraft and creativity. In it, the participants were divided to create a movie, some in the real world with a real camera, and some in Minecraft with screen recording tools. They were to create their own stories and narratives individually. The Minecraft team created several. A story where a boy lost his parents, visiting their graves, etc. A story where there was a boy who just loved digging holes, and so on. The accessibility of Minecraft made it a good medium to present and express creativity, which is an important part of narrative and narrative design. The creativity is embodied by the community. Content creation, mods, and resource packs all become ways for players to enjoy the game and form their own look and their own world with their own narratives. Resource packs change the textures. Some are photorealistic, even having up to 1024 by 1024 textures, or some are 4x4. And some are stylized with themes such as sci-fi or fantasy, cartoon, or Star Wars, which helps the player form a narrative for their world even more, able to immerse themselves better. Even with a good imagination, it can be difficult to picture stormtroopers shooting at you within their Star Destroyers when it's just skeletons with bows in a cave that has lava. In conclusion, the pure, undivided potential and possibility for personalization and customization, both built into the game and added on, allow players to create worlds reflective of their creative expression, which they commonly justify with immersion or reason, which expresses the purest of emergent narratives. The player's drive to create, not only physically in-game, but also metaphysically in-game, perpetuates expansion and development of their goals in time. The emergent narratives created don't ever end, whether they're in creative or survival, because there is always something more to do, something extra that can be done. The exploration of procedurally generated worlds indoctrinates and welcomes players to grow and understand it, which has them enjoy it even more. Although the gameplay is the foundation for the game's enjoyment, all it does is lay out a medium for players to express and create their own enjoyment. No one looks at the fighting mechanic in Minecraft and goes, "Wow, that's incredible, that gameplay is amazing!" But rather, "Wow, you can do so much, I want to do this, and this." And even before playing, they can create their own goals which form a narrative. So why is it that even though I don't play it all the time, I've played it the most and I can get sucked right back in randomly? Because I get immersed in a whole new world where I can determine why or how something is.
Yeah, Dre, where did you go?
Dude, I'm already almost back home. Actually, that's a lie. I'm not almost back home. I'm almost back
Why
home.
does this song slightly remind me of Pokemon? Okay, never mind. Now it doesn't.
I wanna be the very best that no one ever was. But in order to be the very best, there must have been someone who was before. Pokemon, welcome to linguistics.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. You're right on every single aspect of that.